Hello everyone, today we are gonna be playing Clorinde, and with that let's just jump right into the games. Now of course we are gonna be playing Clorinde with Mawika. You may have seen different variations of this deck, some with the Serpent instead of Ganyu, some with Chevrolet instead of Ganyu, but I'm gonna be using Ganyu. You may wonder why Ganyu, and the answer is simply because with this deck, this is not your... Why did I throw that electro dice away? I don't know. I'm talking too much. Gotta concentrate for a moment. Why Ganyu is simply because round 1 and 2 we are just going to overload with Clorinde, meaning that the whole opponent team has taken a lot of damage by round 3, and by that time Clorinde, if the opponent is throwing hands, is often very low, but their whole team will also be low, so Ganyu, who can dish out AoE damage with ease, should be able to clean up, especially because the Frostleg arrow gets comboed by Mawika's passive skill. And with that explanation, I'll start actually playing the game. Now, both of these bikes are good. I'm gonna take the Flame Strider because we are running Conductor's Top Hat, so that we get that extra pyro application on the opponent's side of field. Also for the same reason, because we of course need to refresh Mawika's skill basically every round, we are running Dawn Winery so that we can save dice from continuously switching around. Also using the funny weapon to allow our Clorinde to do some extra damage. You can also use Clorinde's talent card in this deck. Just remember that getting a lot of stacks on it is not that easy, since you're gonna be basically using it often right after the first attack. And here you can see we just throw the Conductor's Top Hat, and because we are lucky it's not going to discard the weapon.
Per your wishes.
So we immediately get one pyro application on the opponent. Not that it matters, because we are in a way, even if they switch our normal attack, we'll get comboed by Mawika's passive skill. Also, the Flame Conductor's Top Hat allows us to fix our dice, which means we do not need to have the 2-cost bike. But if you do not have conductors, then the 2-cost bike is the better choice.
Ready.
Here we are not gonna play our weapon, probably in next round. But what we can do instead is go for 2 normal attacks with our arcane card. And here you see what I meant about having the whole opponent team very low by the end of first round as well as the second round. Now, because we have the weapon, I think we can tune the food instead. Of course, now we still have the risk that at the next round the conductors will discard our weapon, but we can also just play the weapon next round if our dice allow. And once again, here is the Dawn Winery coming in,
anytime, any place.
Coming to use by having us switch back to Mawika so that we can immediately refresh the elemental skill. Of course, if you are running conductors, that means that it's not often useful to replace the artifact with any other. Like, for example, I do have gladiators, I do have gamblers, of course. But replacing conductor is not often advised, since this fixes your dice as well as gives you a discount on your skill.
Burn it down.
Same game plan. I could have actually played Sealy there, but no matter. Not a big mistake, since once again Conductors fixes our dice and we can play the weapon here actually. I think at least, hold on, free swap. Yes, we can play the weapon here. Also,
wishes.
make sure that we discard the Flame Strider instead of it. And here you can see our opponent hasn't really fought much. They've basically done setup for their Noel, and it's now coming back at them. Now I could actually, since there is really no actually no, we have to do a skill. There's no point doing anything else. Now here, once we get the 1 die from the weapon, we could play Gladiators, do another attack, but in all honesty, I don't think we need to do it. Their characters are gonna be low anyway. And I do not need to like sacrifice my only dice fixer currently. Even though we could of course get the bike from Mawika. Of course, another thing that happens here, we are not gonna be spending both of the Night Soul points right away, but none of that is, well, our opponent realized what is going on. So, on to the next one. Now, our next match is quite interesting. Abyss Heralds. Burst Rushing Abyss Heralds. Luckily, they do not have the Hydro one, because that one would be actually a little annoying. But what they do have is Overload, which means we actually do have to think about little what we want to do here.
Ready to ride.
Yes, I'm assuming Raiden Burst into Pyrolector's Burst into Electrolector Burst or skills until the burst actually gets value because of the drawback that the energy requirement for extra damage has. Also, in the last match I forgot to mention, of course, the other upside of running Ganyu as your third character is the 12 HP threshold, meaning that you can tank more damage, because sometimes you have bad dice luck or card luck and you simply cannot go in. So then you have Ganyu who can just tank all the damage. Now here actually I need to do some math, because we have this, that, switching, skill.
Rise with the sun.
Yes, it should be better not to play the Sealy, because we should, if we play Minty Meteorals, end up with exactly 1 dice we can use to switch off from Clorinde to make sure she is not threatened by any
Need to hire a duelist.
means. After all, their deck does scream Adeptus Temptation. But it seems they aren't doing it right now. Of course, Clorinde taking some damage first round is no problem, because at the beginning of the next round we can instantaneously heal. Now actually, skill, normal attack, skill, play that, normal attack, play that, 1 more normal attack, tune 1 card, perhaps, probably, yes, play that. So yeah, keeping the Sealy allows us to do 3 normal attacks here, as well as, because if we do not get Electro Die from the Covenant of the Rock, we can just tune the Sealy, and of course we want to keep the Phlogiston because that allows the overload to happen, or the follow-up to happen for each of our normal attacks.
Loaded.
Of course, if I didn't have conductors, I wouldn't have I would have probably played Sealy just for the sake of getting more cards, so that if I needed to tune, but in this case I do have Sealy, so I do not need to worry about such. I think the funny part here is actually that they end up back on Raiden, which is really good for us. And let's play Phlogiston. That means that they must have a fast swap if they want, because we are going to have switch back to Mawika, of course, because we need to refresh the skill. But this way, they need to... Ooh, they don't even need to tune the Sealy, that's nice. Now they need to have a fast swap if they want to threaten Mawika. Of course, the downside with fighting Lectors is the fact that now they have 2 HP and we are most likely going to do a little more than that, since we do not have the weapon. But it should not be a big deal unless they throw out Adeptus Temptation and whatnot. Decent dice, of course we get to tune some of that. I actually fix some of that with the conductors. Well, there is the fast swap, I'm assuming this burst right here, but will there be an Adeptus? Now this is a little unfortunate situation. I think it is still better for us to just switch back to Mawika and sacrifice, then probably do a Frost Lake arrow to proc the revives from both of the Lectors, and then we'll get... No, but hold on, then the Lector's skill will do enough to kill a Clorinde. We'll have to do a skill as well. Do we have enough dice? One for the skill, one to switch back to Ganyu. Actually, it should be fine, I think, because then we can just burst skill. It should be yeah, it should be enough. It should be good.
Anytime, any place.
Now if they do not kill Mawika, that's of course a great thing for us, even if we have to waste one more die to switch around, but of course they are going to do that.
Is this?
So what we do... Actually, hold on. I should actually shoot first, then switch there, because then the Overload throws back at Ganyu, and we can shoot again. Yeah, that's the way to go. Now they lose the revives. And again, let's switch here and take out the biggest threat. Like that. Now even if they, well, no matter which one they take, one Frost Lake arrow and Raiden will be down and the Lector will be left with 1 HP, and I doubt they can do much about that. The dice is good enough. I can live with that. Now hold on, that's gonna do... what? 7. Yes, because I think it already counts the Eye of Stormy Judgment in there.
Shall set you free.
Not quite enough, my friend. Now hold on, I actually do need to think, I guess, those ones. Yes, and then that one, conductors will tune this one, and it should be enough. Just the burst does enough damage that it's gonna be game.
My contract goes unfulfilled.
Just like that.
Evil lurks. Shoot on sight.
And with that, we'll go to the next one. Well. A summon deck from last patch, was it? That deck was meta. Or was it 2 patches ago? It is indeed quite effective, but considering we can use Overload to throw them around, I think we can disrupt them enough to mess up their combo. At least that's what I hope for, and of course I start
Anytime,
first, but
any
I
place.
think it will be still fine to play Pangeration, since I'm most likely going to do no more than 3 actions round 1, while as we are gonna be doing 4 or even 5. So Pangeration it is.
Light it up.
Once again, because we do have conductors, we are gonna take the Soaring Ascent Flame Strider. Because actually, also to explain a little more, the bike does exactly the same thing that this combination and switching to Clorinde does, except for the fact that in this case you get 1 pyro damage, and in the 2-cost bike case you get a fast swap. That's the only difference between the two, which is why Conductors and Flame Strider is a perfectly fine combination as well.
Per your wishes.
It only really goes down to, if you do not have Conductors in your starting hand, take the 2 cost. If you have Conductors, take the 3 cost, because in the end what you want to do with this deck is damage.
Ready.
Now here we are gonna be doing the same Mindy into Covenant of Rock combination, because we have the dice and the cards, and we can of course fix our dice the following round. Of course the downsides aren't there. They are gonna end the round on Furina at the end here, once we've done all our attacks. And the upside is that, of course, Nahida, which is gonna be their late game carry, is gonna be real low. Not gonna use the skill here, even if it would be good to get Nahida on low HP, because we of course want to keep the healing for the following round. And because that deck has no attack power at all, that's gonna do what, 4 damage to a single target, so even the center of attention is not gonna be a threat to our Mawika. And if they actually like now go in, try to kill Mawika, that's gonna be very bad for them, because their combination relies on getting the stacks for Yaes summon to do extra damage and then go into Nahida, so they are ruining their own game plan if they now try to take out Mawika using the talent card damage bonus. And also here you can actually see why Ganyu is, in my opinion, great, because even if now we couldn't for whatever reason go to Clorinde, that's 1 Frostleg arrow and their team is gonna be almost dead. They actually did go for the normal attack, but because they were in the, well, is this Arche or Osia? And I don't remember which form is which, but that was the heal mode, which means unless they use an Adeptus and Furina Burst, which I think they have enough because of the Storm Terror,
Rise with the sun.
they can take out Mawika, but we already have this. But of course there's now the small possibility that If they do that, it's going to tune the weapon. Let's see. It's going to tune the weapon, so we need to do some math. 3 dice for the weapon, 1 dice for the switch, 1 dice to do an attack. The skill, that is. We can only do one. No, actually, I think here, because Mawika is not going to die at the end of this round, because we can just not end on Mawika, I think we are actually going to tune the weapon. Because I want to do more normal attacks this round to take out possibly even Furina. So we are going to tune that. And also this way we are now threatening to take out Nahida with the skill. I mean, actually I could have played the weapon, because I could have also replaced conductors, now that I think about it. But I don't think it's necessary, because after Nahida is dead, the only thing they can do for damage is a Miko burst that they do not have. So yeah.
Into the shadows.
I could also fish for gamblers here, but I don't think that's necessary. I haven't lost yet, wasted on Furina, because what are they going to do with that, with the 1 dice and not even gaining more energy? Lovely to see. Now I do wonder. No, because the second overload would throw them back onto Furina. So I think what we will do is do 2 normal attacks and then end our round on Ganyu, and just 1 Froststrike arrow win the game. So we'll only spend that and none of our other resources here. Well, it's gonna be left on. Well, 1 Froststrike arrow will not be quite enough, but that's really no trouble. They already wasted the I haven't lost yet. I doubt they'll have another in hand.
What are my orders?
And even if they do, Ganyu should have enough HP to easily tank it. Also with the added benefit that the Salon members only attack once because their HP is so low. Phlogiston coming in a little late. It would be nice to have it right now. Don't think I need Pyro-Dice anymore. I mean, this is already game. I'm pretty sure that Dex has absolutely nothing they can do. Like, even if they pull out now, like, what can they do? I haven't lost yet Burst, Yai, Miko. But even still, I could just take Mawika, even if they have, you know, Winsome Freedom, Arcane Guard. Go. Actually, no, Mawika would die as well. That's gonna do what? No, but then why wouldn't I just switch?
Hear your wishes.
We are playing for keeps here. I'm not taking the chance that they have. I haven't lost yet. Gamblers in hand. I played for keeps and it's guaranteed the victory. And with that, I'll see you in the next game. Playing against Soup. Let's see what they have going on. Since having Xiangling, actually, I'd say Wanderer is the one I'm. Actually, I think it might be skill start swirling instead of perhaps like skill burst start swirling. They might go for Xiangling burst, but Once again, we have conductors, and I actually see no point in fishing for any other cards. These are great cards for round 1.
Anytime, any place.
And great dice. We almost even don't need conductors here, but no matter. I only need to do a little count. Actually, it should be fine. We can freeze swap and we can play strategize at some point at least.
Light it up.
So once again, soaring ascent because we do have conductors. Hold on. Laboratory ruins. Now I really don't know what they are like planning. Let's think about it. Free swap. Skill, normal attack. Play arcane, play that, do a normal attack. I cannot. No, but actually 2 normal attacks is going to be better, so it's gonna be play arcane, switch back and play strategize. Or should I play strategize already? Switching skill. Yeah, actually we want to play strategize after we have switched, because we don't want to draw a weapon that would ruin the discard. I forgot that of course the conductors also costs a little, but we want to play changing shifts here.
Per your wishes.
This should be enough. So now it's gonna be skill, normal attack, normal attack. Skill, normal attack, play covenant, play strategize, switch away. I think that's gonna be good.
Into the shadows.
Of course, the downside is that actually there will be no downside if we end our run on Mavika, because they'll be on Wanderer and there is going to be no element to swirl. This is looking really good for us. The other normal attack. Now because Mawika is out of Night Soul points, there's no point attacking even more here. Even if we could do a skill, for example. Play that, play strategize. Well, of course. That would have made a normal attack.
Anytime, any place.
One more normal attack be worth it, but that's no trouble at all. Now here there is the possibility that they of course do take out Mawika with Wanderer, because they can just do 2 skills. Of course that would mean that they can do nothing else this round. And actually if they do go for a skill here, I think bursting will not be worth it. It's gonna be only 4 damage, even if Mawika can finish it off. I think it's gonna be better just to do the skill and then go to town with Clorinde instead. After all, Wanderer is no threat if there is nothing to swirl. And the character he attacks with normal attacks would be Clorinde, who can just heal.
Squall and fury.
Because that would do enough so that the skill would be enough. It's not like we have gamblers or anything. I do not think it's worth it. If we take the 3 cost, it's gonna get discarded. They have 8 HP. That's gonna do 6 damage. And 2 HP is enough for a Frostrake arrow. So I think that's completely justified to just... But do I want to play Sealy? Hold on. Free swap per hands, Sealy. So skill, Sealy, normal. Perhaps even that if we do not get a free swap here. So I do think actually Sealy it's gonna be great here.
Burn it down.
We can also do this combination if nothing else works out. Now they indeed have to do another skill if they want Mawika to die. And that of course means they are basically wasting this round doing a whole lot of nothing. And they realize it as well. Now here of course switching will coming. That will not be a problem because we do have the northern smoked chicken, meaning that our dice is enough to do 2 normal attacks. Not to mention we are gonna be getting extra cards from Sealy that may allow for even more. And now you can also see Xiangling on 2 HP, which is enough for the Frostdrake arrow. This is actually, I think this artifact is a little slept on. Mostly because in the decks that could utilize it, there are more often than not better options. But I do think that in certain combinations, especially with with Mualani, this artifact is really good on Mualani, and I'm not talking about Mualani Mawika decks, but Mualani decks in general. Yeah, we have already spent the arcane, let's just play that one, and we do not need to play the Phlogiston yet. But like, this one with Mualani is really good because it means your normal attacks will do an even amount of damage, which is great against any character that has 10 or 12 base HP. Or to put it simply, any character that has HP pool that can be divided by 2. Didn't really get much there. I do kind of want to end my round on Ganyu, because why not? So we'll do just that. Anyway, I don't think we are gonna be needing much dice fixing anymore in this. Minty Mithril could have gone a little earlier, but it's no trouble.
What are my orders?
We'll just end on Ganyu so that we can instantaneously Frostlake Arrow, followed by the Mawika's passive skill, and that's gonna leave Wanderer with very little HP left. Which I think we should be able to finish with Clorinde skill. Now let's see Soup's final struggle. I've still seen nothing for the laboratory. Why do you have this? You have discarded 0 cards and played, well, none. I have no idea why do you run this, to put it simply. Unfortunately we do not have gamblers. Not that we've drawn that many cards, but it's still unfortunate. We'll just Frostlake Arrow and with that the follow-up. Actually no, a normal attack from Ganyu is not gonna be enough, but the skill will be, unless they pull out that arcane card. That makes things a little interesting, because of course now their normal attack will take out Mawika. But if they play something like that. Hold on, that's gonna do 6 damage. I cannot burst, and there's no point in doing the skill there. I think what we want to do actually here is do a Ganyu skill so that next round we can finish it all off with Clorinde. We anyway have the weapon for her. We can do that, we can do that, and that. We'll do the skill. It's not like Ganyu will stay alive, but that's the biggest amount of damage we can do for now. And it also means Squaba will not kill Ganyu, so that when they do a normal attack, which they will probably do, it will double kill these two characters. And then we actually they've already played their arcane card, so we do not need to worry about the sudden burst taking out Clorinde here. Actually, the Lotus will be enough that not even the Pyronado will take out Ganyu. So we are just fine. We can even do another... Do we want to do another attack on Ganyu? Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Squall and Fury.
Is this our
But of course if they do that, then Ganyu does get taken out, but it's pointless at this point, and I'll see you in what will most likely be the last match. And look at that, our last game will be up against Sid here. Seeming like a freeze deck, which will actually be perhaps even a little difficult for us, because we do not have Dada in this deck. Because we aren't using cards like, actually we are using characters like the Pyro Eremite, whose passive skill as well as the, I think the protection of the technique card can be both procced by the, what is it?
Anytime, any place.
Tada! God. But here is another reason why we have Ganyu. She's a perfectly fine backup. Because usually round 1 our opponent will not be able to take us out. And here you actually see we do not have a conductor, so we are gonna be taking the bike. With the 2-cost bike.
shadows of fate?
Our opponent started on Mona, so Pangeration should be just fine. There's a great chance Mawika will get frozen, so I do want to keep that, but because we are taking the 2-cost bike, we can do changing shifts instead.
Light it up.
Even if this now gives us a fast swap, the same thing goes for their Mona, so we should be guaranteed the Pangeration. Especially now. I'm assuming next round they are planning to skill Kazuha, then Sidlali skill followed by that. Of course they do not seem to be ready for what's coming. At least that's what it looks like. A weapon. Okay, this starts to seem a little scary. This is starting to be a little scary indeed. But we'll go for it anyway.
Into the shadows.
The best would probably do 2 normal attacks so that they end on Sidlali. We will probably end on Mawika so that they of course are enticed to freeze Mawika. Then, because we can play Phlogiston this round, we can either go to Clorinde or to Ganyu and follow up from there. Now I do wonder, I could just play a bunch of cards to activate. Dawn Winery would be real nice since we are against freeze, so we do need to stall a little. So I could go for Dawn Winery, Covenant of Rock, pray that we get one Electro die from there. Actually, I think we are gonna do that. Dawn Winery, Covenant of Rock. If we do not get Electro die, we will do Phlogiston, and anyway these two cards are gonna guarantee another normal attack. We do not get. Unfortunate, but it will not stop us. That's a free attack coming our way. Of course, unfortunately now we will not have Mawika's passive active for next round, but at least we have some extra die coming from Dawn Winery. Now of course we are also at the mercy of our dice.
Ready to ride.
But in many cases I don't think it should be that bad, since Clorinde doesn't require that many good dice, and Ganyu, you only really do one skill if you have no setup. Now, because I do not believe we are gonna be doing a skill on Mawika, I'm gonna of course throw those dice away. And our dice are actually really good here. I don't wanna tune either of these to do a Frost Lake though, so we'll probably try to play tricks and go to probably first Ganyu, then Clorinde. That type of
Fulfill our pact.
little running around.
As
Yeah,
per
the
our
Dawn
contract.
Winery of course coming in clutch, allowing us to not use any of our dice as we stall the game a little bit. Now all we really need to do is have them end their round hopefully on Sid Lali, since then we can at least threaten a skill from Mawika or even burst. But we'll simply see what will happen. The passive has not yet activated. No, actually, yeah, it did activate because they froze. So Silali will get no more Night Soul points. Skill, normal attack. No, skill, normal attack. Sealy and that. Sealy that. Skill, free normal attack. Sealy procs. No extra dice though at that point. Difficult choices we have to make here. Switching is a little scary as well, but I think that's the best we can actually do here. I do think this is better because they're gonna be spending the rest of their dice on a Mona skill, and we can end our round on Mawika so that they will not have an element to swirl next at the start of next round. We will play Sealy now, of course.
Into the shadows.
Unfortunately, because we do not have a weapon, Sitlali will completely nullify the damage we do. Actually, yeah, that buff is going to mean that someone will actually kill Mawika, which is not that nice. But something we will most likely have to live with. A skill would be nice, a normal attack will not do much. I do need to think about this a little. Because if we end on Clorinde, they will either freeze Clorinde or swirl, which also threatens. We kind of have to end on Mawika, which means we'll just do a normal attack here, even if the damage isn't big. Now, because of the talent card, the summon will take out Mawika, which is
Anytime, any
unfortunate, and not really point playing any of our cards here.
The flame!
But at least with this, they will now once again have to do a Mona skill to get an element to swirl. And now there is no Cryo on the field, so they cannot get Sitlali's talent card or passive skill proccing the Cryo damage that easily. But yes, here you can see, because we do not have Tada. If we did have Tada, this matchup would not be that hard. So we can go to Clorinde without worrying. But in this case we do have to worry, because once she gets frozen we can do
Delved
nothing.
into destiny.
Frost Lake Arrow is actually quite tempting here. Let's think about it for a moment. It's 5 dice, free swap, skill costs 2. We can, if we tune, it's no trouble. But we have to tune 3 cards, which we need to think about quite a lot here. If I now just switch, they'll very likely do a normal attack on Sitlali, because the follow-up Cryo will be on Clorinde. So, how to go about this? We aren't gonna be... I think we'll have to do that one, and the Boar Princess. Gamblers might show value next round. After all. Now with this they will either go to Sitlali or to Kazuha, or they will do setup, which is actually really bad for us. Okay, if I do a normal attack on Ganyu, take out Mona. They're going to freeze with Sitlali. They went to Sitlali anyway. Will the damage be enough? No, it will not.
Need to hire a duelist?
I do wonder, but it's still the best we can do. I think here we are going to end our round on Clorinde, so that there's at least a little chance of a Frost Lake Arrow. Another downside in my deck, of course, is that I do not have a fast swap, because I'm using Mawika, and Mawika's 2-cost bike is a fast swap. It might very well be that this round we are simply going to have both of our characters frozen. But if they do that, well, at least Ganyu should have a great amount of HP left, which means next round there isn't much they can threaten us with, because we will end first.
What are my orders?
Sitlali's both procs went right there. Burst, of course.
Get him!
That gives the follow-up. And now, if we end here, Kazuha's skill turns the normal attack to the element, so it won't be a shatter. They will have enough for one combo of that. Well, at least one combo of that. I don't know what they're gonna throw at me. They have already gamblers, but it's gonna be 5 damage. 6 damage with talent card. Because that doesn't buff cryo damage. So I think all we're gonna do here is end our round. Because of course if we now switch to Clorinde, we give them the chance of a kill, which we do not want to give them. They do go for a normal attack, but will they? I mean, if they have any way of getting extra die here, they have won the game. Because all they need is another normal attack. Even with that, if they now get Providence, it's gonna be GG. So this is of course the downside. We do not have Tada, so there's no way to play around Freeze. But now they are actually in a precarious spot. They weren't smart enough to end on Mona. This might still be our game actually. This might very well still be my game after all. If they had switched to Mona, things could have been difficult, but because they did not, I don't really have any cards that could protect Clorinde, so there's no need to fish for any. We'll play gamblers of course, because why not?
Take me! Earth below.
And they have already played their arcane card. So there's no worry about that, but let's see here. We'll do 3-4 damage. And I think that's gonna be game. Our opponent was unlucky because I think like... No, hold on, a burst does more damage anyway. Our opponent was unlucky. They would have lost either way. Or in any case. And that's gonna be that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.